Navatu Sarvunatu Saviyam Karvavadai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavadai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Puranam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadguru Brahma Vidvaram. Vasudevendra Yogindram Nattva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. So the fourfold qualifications we have seen: Vivek and Vairagya. Shakka Sampatti has 6 qualities in it, and what are those 6? Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Shresha, Shraddha, Samadhi. So in that we saw the first one, which is Shama. Shama means the mind control. And the mind control happens when we saw about, one is what is my identity is clear to me, that makes my purpose clear. To achieve the purpose of life, there are various goals that we have. Goal of life and purpose is the same. So to achieve that goal, to achieve that purpose, we have various goals, and when we are inspired by the goal, the mind remains focused. So the memories of the past and the distractions of the present don't trouble the person. Now, to achieve this mind control, the factor from where we take the input, the senses, it is easier to manage the senses than to manage the mind. So the sense management is the next point, which is about Dhamma. So when we speak about sense management, the 5 senses we saw: eyes, ears, tongue, skin and nose. These senses, by their very nature, are extroverted. So they are programmed to seek happiness in the world outside. And through the senses, the mind goes out. So when the mind goes out, lots of impressions it collects. And when we see something, then desire to achieve it, or desire to enjoy it arises. Those, when we enjoy, memory is created, which further creates desires. So the gateway is the senses, through which the perception is done. So if I do not filter this, the impression that I will have on my mind will create the desires, and further it will make me act. So sense management is one of the very important aspects of spiritual life, and also of character development, personality building, etc. Generally people don't give enough emphasis on this, because one feels that if senses are there, then I must be able to enjoy. Senses are given to enjoy. So enjoyment is not a problem, but the management has to be done properly. In computer we have this, garbage in and garbage out. GIGO it is called. If I take garbage inside, Garbage only will come out. And I must be able to filter. If I don't filter the sense perception, whatever goes in is what is going to make my thoughts. So the Shanti mantra of the Upanishad says, Bhadram karne vishnunayama devaha, Bhadram pasye makshabhi jajatraha. May I hear what is auspicious and may I see what is auspicious. Because even in all the others, in all the five senses, seeing and hearing, these are two very powerful senses. Because our thoughts are made up of the objects that we see. And through seeing and hearing is what we actually form the images most often. And so it is that the senses have to be really managed very well. Also we find that one aspect why we need sense management is because they form our thoughts. Second aspect is when we indulge through the senses, the energy we spend. So the more the indulgence, the more the energy we spend. Physical vitality we spend, pranic energy we spend. And the energy needs to be conserved. Meditation requires maximum energy. If the physical stamina is not there, if the vitality is not there, even the capacity to sit still for 1 hour, 2 hours will not be there. Body becomes so restless. By itself senses are wide, and then I indulge and I make them weak, then there is no capacity to control it. Hence, sense management, and that is given a lot of emphasis. It is not to suppress the senses, but it is to manage them very well, where I know when to indulge and I know when to withdraw. I enjoy as a master, not as a slave. That the enjoyment that I indulge in should not bind me, should not drain me, and should not be a compulsive enjoyment. In sense management and sense enjoyment, that is very important. Those three aspects are the sense enjoyment should not bind me, meaning I should not be dependent on those enjoyments, and without it I feel incomplete. Secondly, it should not drain me. That when I am indulging in the sense enjoyments, some expenditure of energy is going to be there. That happens in everything. I see anything. Even right now we are spending energy. Through the senses you are seeing and I am talking, you are listening. We are spending energy. But when we enjoy, the enjoyment should be what we call a sattvic enjoyment, which does not drain us out. See, physically everybody gets tired, which we recoup through rest. But when we spend energy in indulgence where it is uncontrolled, we are exhausted at the physical level and body goes through, what do you call it? So it's in a crisis situation where the body is always in a state of deprivation, or it is always in the state of, what we call it, it is not in its optimum healthy state. Deficiency is there. One always feels weak, exhausted, all that keeps happening. So, three factors where it should not bind me. I should not have dependency on it. I should not be drained by it. And the third one is it should not be compulsory. I will keep doing this. Don't think it got over with the last class. What I say I will ask in the same class itself. Bind, drain and compulsive. Compulsiveness should not be there. Meaning, I know it is wrong but still I do it. That is called compulsiveness, and that happens when I get bound. The first factor, binding, leads to compulsive enjoyment. And I have to indulge in it.
What is the difference between controlling it and suppressing it?
Yeah. So when I am controlling it, I am doing it with intelligence. I am consciously withdrawing it from the lower because I have a higher purpose to achieve. I am convincing myself logically and also putting the effort to withdraw. So if the mind says, it's okay, let me keep awake for 1 more hour in the night and watch this serial or watch this movie, I deserve to enjoy or whatever. At that point, if I say, to live in balance is my purpose and I need to wake up tomorrow morning and I need to give my body enough rest. And I am telling this to myself logically because I have a purpose to achieve. That is called sublimity. But if I don't use any of these and I simply tell myself by force that nothing doing, you have to just go and sleep. You are not supposed to watch this at all. And it is done with unpleasantness. Or there is a certain amount of, there is unwillingness also and there is no logic. It's force. Then it is suppressive. So sublimation is done out of intelligence. Sublimation always is of a lower for the higher. Sublimation is done with willingness. And there is sacrifice in that. Joyous sacrifice. Because I love that goal, what we spoke about earlier. The goal is inspiring to me. So I want to control the energy for that. It is for any achievement, this energy management is very, very crucial. Whether it is a secular achievement or a spiritual achievement. The amount of energy that we spend, Gurudev used to call the economics of thought. What is the economics of thought? The economics of energy management. When I have a goal in life, I need to channelize my energies towards that goal, not allow it to be dissipated. So sense management in the Gita chariot also, if you see, 5 horses are the 5 senses. The reins is the mind and charioteer is the intellect. The owner of the chariot is the ego, the individuality, and the chariot is the body. Now in that, if even one horse goes out of control, the chariot will not reach the destination. All the 5 horses must be in control. How they will be in control? If the mind is in control. And they both complement each other. So the reins has to be tight in the hands of the charioteer, and the charioteer must be able to not only control these, must know where to reach. That's why we spoke about the identity and the group purpose, the where to go. You just imagine in our case, all the horses are wild, reins are not in control, charioteer is drunk with all false values, doesn't know where to reach, and the owner of the chariot is not even interested. What will happen to that chariot? It will move, but where it goes we don't know. That is the situation. And this analogy is given in the Tattvabodh-Dama. Very, very powerful and beautiful analogy. So sense management, if somebody says, I want to start practicing spirituality, start from sense management. Before I do even attitudinal shifts, etc., sense management is important. So what should I do? I have to first understand the need for sense management. In that we spoke about the senses. The perception leads to our thoughts. 2, energy, if it is conserved, then only any great achievement is possible. You think about it, even in the world, when people want to achieve, suppose somebody wants to be a film star or somebody wants to be a great sports person, don't they have to apply sense management? They diet properly. And then they do exercise and every morning get up and go for their whatever drill they have to go through. Everything they do. Why? Because the goal is important. It is not that the mind doesn't feel like enjoying through the senses. The mind goes out, but the control happens. So energy is very, very necessary. And third aspect is, if I want to achieve concentration also. This we spoke about even earlier. Vairagya also we spoke. And same way, Vairagya helps to control the senses. So if in meditation I need to be focused, concentration happens when I have the capacity to withdraw my senses. That's why in meditation we sit quietly, withdrawing all the senses. So if I don't have capacity of Dhamma to control the senses from indulging, I cannot practice meditation. I cannot practice any spiritual practice for that matter. So energy management and sense management, they are very, very important and first steps of spirituality. Now how to do this? Once we understand the importance of this, and not only that, sense management is also necessary to save me from harm, to save me from this state of abusing the body, from the state of being exhausted, tired. One of the reasons for stress is also that we don't take adequate care of the body. We don't give it enough rest, we don't give it enough food, enough exercise. So then we will be fatigued. And is it not that when our life anyway is so hectic and so many things to do, then all the more energy I need, for which I have to conserve my senses. So if I understand this importance, now we go to how do I manage my senses. So point number 1 in that is exercise. Deny what is harmful. I must deny to the body what is harmful to the body. I must deny it very strongly. Not suppress it, but sublimate it. So if I know that keeping up late is not good for me, or whatever, smoking is not good, drinking is not good, or some type of other enjoyments that I do, even like watching something which is violent, which is vulgar, many of these, they all create the impressions in the mind. One of the worst ways to go to sleep is in front of a TV. Did I tell you that last time? Terrible. I didn't tell you.
No.
I do lots of classes, I don't remember where I told what. In Gita and practice I told. Terrible. To sit in front of the TV and go to sleep because I am opening up my subconscious mind. And what all is going inside? That will create desires. If not desire, it will create that impression in the mind. Repeated impression is going to further create it. So if you feel sleepy, just switch off and go and sleep. The moment you start feeling drowsy, just go and sleep. Don't sit in the front of the TV. So there are many things which are harmful, which we have to avoid. Even simple thing like gossiping. That's a control at the speech level. Gossiping is harmful. Waste of energy, unnecessary pride I get in pulling somebody else down. And then there is a tendency to gossip, which gets created. And then I don't find anybody to gossip, then I feel miserable. So deny to the senses what is harmful to the senses. Especially what we know is not good for me at all. It need not be just harmful in that sense that it is bad for the health, but it could also be harmful where it doesn't suit me. Certain things don't suit certain people. So one is to deny to the senses what is harmful, and I should identify. I may be very attached to it. It could be even a simple thing like drinking 6 or 8 cups of tea in a day. Harmful. So I must cut down those things which are harmful to me. So this denial, if one is very convinced, it can just stop. If not, slowly. From 8 cups make it 6, from 6 make it 4, from 4 make it 2, then make it 0. And in this, to help in this denial, there is also what we call the substitution. That if you are used to drinking 8 cups of tea, then drink instead of 8 cups of tea, 4 cups of tea and 4 cups of whatever, juice or green tea. Now there is some white tea also, which does not have caffeine at all. I don't know how that tea is made, but white tea. I think another 20 years we will have all colors of tea. Yellow tea, green tea, white tea, blue tea, red tea, everything. Anyway, it's supposed to be better than green tea also.
Same thing happened to cheese, no?
I don't know what happened to cheese. So anyway, the point is that I can substitute. In denial, it is not, as we said earlier, suppression. It is in a sublimated way, how you get over it. So deny to the senses what is harmful to the senses. 2. Delay gratification. This is to avoid that compulsiveness. I feel like eating something which is fried. I may just pick up a Lay's packet and eat, or pick up some vada pav or whatever. Delaying gratification is not to do that impulsively, but to, when that impulse arises, it is to say that not now, after 10 minutes, or after 1 hour, or after I finish this task, or not today, I do it tomorrow. So that the indulgence doesn't become compulsive. Why should the indulgence not become compulsive? Because then I have no control and I just fall for it. And this compulsiveness is a very powerful feeling. When we get compelled, then that's how Duryodhana was also there. He couldn't follow dharma because he is compelled by his own impulse. Compulsively we do so many things. Now we keep checking the phone every 2 minutes. Compulsive. Nobody has messaged also, but yet, if somebody has messaged, check. Compulsively we talk, compulsively we act. So many things we do that, compulsive. So what must be done? That impulse, how to control? Just delay. And it is like those few seconds, those few moments, if I am able to delay it, it passes. Yeah. So I need something to just let it go. I can hold on to whatever my goal is, or I can just tell myself, not now, tomorrow. So delay the gratification. Did I show you that video where this delaying gratification is practiced? So some of you have known, some of you have seen it. Very nice video. One of my favorite videos. Very nice. So cute video that you have. Small kids, they are told to marshmallows. They are not supposed to eat marshmallows for 4 minutes. 5 minutes. No, 15 minutes, sorry. For 15 minutes. You just see this. Beautiful.
Because I have a very important message. I think we have found the most important factor for success. And it was found close to here, Stanford. Psychology professor took kids that were 4 years old and put them in a room all by themselves. And he would tell the child, 4-year-old kid, Johnny, I'm going to leave you here with a marshmallow for 15 minutes. If after I come back, this marshmallow is here, you will get another one. So you will have 2. To tell a 4-year-old kid to wait 15 minutes for something that they like is equivalent to tell us, we'll bring you coffee in 2 hours. Exact equivalent. So, what happened when the professor left the room? As soon as the door closed, 2 out of 3. 80 marshmallow. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes. Some lasted 14 and a half minutes. Couldn't do it. Could not wait. What's interesting is that 1 out of 3 would look at the marshmallow and go like this. Would look at it, put it back. They would walk around. They would play with their skirts and pants. That child already at 4 understood the most important principle for success, which is the ability to delay gratification. Self-discipline, the most important factor for success. 15 years later, 14, 15 years later, follow-up study. What did they find? They went to look for these kids that were now 18 and 19, and they found that 100% of the children that had not eaten the marshmallow were successful. They had good grades, they were doing wonderful, they were happy, they had their plans, they had good relations with the teachers, students, they were doing well fine. A great percentage of the kids that ate the marshmallow, they were in trouble. They did not make it to the university, they had bad grades, some of them dropped out, a few were still there with bad grades, a few had good grades. I had a question in my mind. Would Hispanic kids react the same way as the American kids? So I went to Colombia and I reproduced the experiment, and it was very fun. I used 4, 5, and 6 years old kids. And let me show you what happened.
Hasta para un niño de 4 años, es atractiva la idea de tener el 100% de retorno a la inversión en 15 minutos. Sin embargo, algunos de ellos, tan pronto la puerta se cerró, se volvieron en marshmallow inmediatamente. Otros, en cambio, resistieron el impulso.
Colombia. Hispanic kids, 2 out of 3 ate the marshmallow, 1 out of 3 did not. This little girl was interesting. She ate the inside of the marshmallow. In other words, she wanted us to think that she had not eaten it, so she would get 2, but she ate it. So we know she'll be successful, but we have to watch her. Okay? She should not go into banking, for example, or work in a cash register, but she will be successful. And this applies for everything, even in sales. The salesperson that is exactly this principle, and we need to learn that principle here in the States because we have a big debt. We're eating more marshmallows than we're producing. Thank you so much.
Self-discipline, capacity to delay gratification. If this capacity comes in us, imagine so many things which we do will not happen. And you see in that video, one more learning is that senses are so powerful. No? That girl, she is still enjoying it with her sense of smell.
And also the more you think of it, the more you want to do it.
So delaying gratification. So I must learn this, not to give into compulsive enjoyment, but to enjoy it with complete awareness. When I want to, that time I enjoy, not compulsively. Third point in sense management is moderation. Not to go to the extremes not only conserves the energy, but also not going to the extremes makes us enjoy that enjoyment better and for a longer time. When we go to the extremes, the saturation point also comes, then for some time we don't want to enjoy it, we get very easily weaned away from it. But then again we swing back to this extreme. Again we overindulge. So this actually harms the senses. When we overindulge and then we completely deny, like simple example, when I don't eat properly, when I overindulge, that is harmful. And also when I keep doing fasting and in the name of detoxification of the body or losing weight, one doesn't eat only. Both are harmful to the body. So the middle path has to be struck. And in sense enjoyment, if moderation is applied, then all the three issues, the binding part, draining part, compulsive part, they all can be managed by this just one point. Just enjoy moderately. There is more satisfaction also when we have enjoyed it. So one should stop. Suppose I love Rasgulla very much and then I go to a wedding and there is Rasgulla available. I could eat 3 and stop there. Not that because it's available just keep eating. Then we lose our capacity sometime. And also senses get weak, what you say. They get worn out. Think about it. As we grow older, the senses are going to become weaker. If sense management is not done properly, it's very amazing if we think logically that the only time when I am capable of doing sense management is when I am young. As a small child, I cannot do sense management. Very difficult. After a certain age, when I grow old, again sense management is not possible. Senses are already worn out. So the only time I can actually manage the senses is when I am young, and that is the time when the senses are wild the maximum. And that time if I manage it, even for my rest of the life, I have managed my senses well. Otherwise the senses get so worn out that by the time I am old, the senses are not even functioning. Hearing becomes less, seeing becomes very difficult, Parkinson's will start, so many things happen. So the senses, if I have to manage them well in the old age, I have to manage them well now. Otherwise it's a lot of pain in old age. So moderation is a very nice point about sense management. And then we come to the last one, which is sattvic enjoyment. Enjoy, but choose enjoyments which are sattvic. I may enjoy in such a way that it enhances my senses. That's a beautiful concept which is there in the 18th chapter of the Gita, which is called sattvic happiness and enjoyment. Rajasic sense enjoyments drain us because they consume a lot of energy of ours, and at the end of it we are tired. Tamasic sense enjoyments, they make us indulge in wrong things, again harmful. But sattvic sense enjoyments, not only we enjoy through the senses, but they also strengthen or enhance the senses. So whether it is music or dance or arts or anything done creatively, which is done in a sattvic way, person feels more refreshed, person feels more quieter, person feels more inspired. So what are the sattvic enjoyments that I can have? I must identify those. And these sattvic enjoyments should be my ways of unwinding and relaxing. predominantly. Not that one should never have rajasic and enjoyments, but when we want to unwind, it is see how human mind is in contradiction. I have become tired, I am stressed out, I am fatigued with whatever work and pressures of life. Now I want to unwind. Already I am running low on energy, I have to unwind. And then I go to some rajasic enjoyment where more energy is going to get destroyed. So it may appear that mentally I have done some unwinding, but physically I have made myself weak. That's why Gurudev used to say that that word weekend is very nice. Because at the end of that whole week, next day on Monday morning, we are weakened only totally. That's why they have this expression of Monday morning blue. Why Monday morning blue? Because over the weekend I have damaged myself so much. I have bed down myself black and blue. So Monday morning blue. Oh God, again I have to go for work. That happens in Rajasic and Tamasic enjoyment. But Sattvic enjoyment will refresh. So the blend is very much required. So these four aspects, and we can control these senses. That person will not only conserve energy, but when I am sitting in meditation, then the mind will abide there. So mind control will lead to sense control, and sense control will also enhance the mind control. Shama and Dhamma, they are complementary to each other. So for an intelligent seeker, if you see these 4 points, denying what is harmful, to sattvic enjoyments, all the 4 points are such that if we follow these 4 points in our life, the senses will not be suppressed, but the senses will be managed well. There will be enjoyment with a balance of discipline, and that is the way if I learn to live, I grow healthy. Too much indulgence or complete suppression, both are not good. And only each one has to find out for oneself what are the things that I am doing where I can improve in these 4 aspects. Now, having said that, Shama and Dhamma, when we have both these capacities, then we get the third one, which we call as Uparati. Uparati means withdrawal of the mind. Uparama kaha swadharma anushthanamev. Before I go to Uparama, one more point. In sense management, a seeker, wise seeker is one who will avoid temptation rather than fight it. Those people who say that, to be amidst the sense enjoyments and then to not be affected by it is the best way to live, that is sometimes escapism. Avoid being in tempting situations rather than go there and then fight it. And then not being able to fight it, then give in and then get into guilt and all the other things. So avoid temptation rather than fighting it. So if I know that I have this sense dependency, avoid only those situations. And that avoiding is not escaping. That avoiding is an intelligent choice. So if I know that, let us say, when I see somebody who is smoking or I see a cigarette packet and I get tempted, I should avoid it. Or if I know that, okay, in the night when I sit to browse, 3 hours gone. So then I avoid that time. I do it at some other time. So when I know that something is tempting to me and that is not appropriate or which I need to change, then I should just avoid those situations itself. And what happens is when I do that, I can control the mind and the senses. Slowly, I gain more control over the mind. That next time, even if that tempting situation is there, I am out of it. If that intelligent choice has been made a few times, and I am doing something else at that time. Like instead of browsing at night, I read some nice book and then go to sleep. Now that habit has got created. In psychology they call that, neurology, sorry, they call that as a neural network. So the new neural network is built. The neural network is where the thought flow in the same pattern. So come that particular time, then I must do this. That is neural network has got created by repeated practice in the brain. Neural network. The various neurons are there, they connect to each other. So when we avoid that tempting situation and now we are doing something else, that network becomes weaker and the new one is formed. So avoiding of the tempting situation is very, very important. So if I know, so if I open a newspaper, now I know that there are certain sections of the newspaper which will not be appropriate or which I don't want to see, just avoid them. Go to other parts which are more inspiring. So this can be applied in many ways, and especially if I know that these are the things that I get tempted by, one should control that. Coming to Uparama. Uparama kaha swadharma anushthana eva. So this swadharma anushthana is actually the means for withdrawing the mind. Literally the word rati means to revel, or ram means to revel. And uparati or uparama means to withdraw the senses from reveling into the sense objects. And this capacity to withdraw the senses is necessary for focus. In work, in meditation, in anything that I do, in a relationship. So if anybody has uparati, that person has the capacity to focus very, very clearly. Because all the senses and the mind is withdrawn. So the senses don't go out, nor the thought-wise we think about anything else. That is called shama and dhamma. So if I am doing some work, and I am fully absorbed in doing that work, I do not get any sense temptation also. So even if there is some nice music going on and I feel like getting up and watching that TV or anything, I don't do it. And the thought also doesn't come while I am engaging in something. That let me do this, let me do that. The mind is not restless. So this capacity of Uparama is very necessary, especially all this what we are saying is necessary when we want to study Vedanta properly. That if I don't have Uparama, like right now if you are sitting here, Uparati if you have, then the mind will be fully here. It has withdrawn from all sense enjoyments. It has withdrawn from all thoughts also of those things. And it is completely here. So that withdrawal alone leads to absorption. So Uparati is that capacity where I can withdraw. Now how do I learn to withdraw? See, as we said earlier, the senses are so wide that to control them and to withdraw and focus is very tough. But this withdrawal can be practiced in two steps. First step, we learn to withdraw by focusing on the job at hand, so that we withdraw from everything else. In that the senses are still engaged, but the field of that is limited. So rather than just allowing the mind to wander and think anything, now I am focusing on the work at hand. And how to focus on that work at hand? So it is said here, do your swadharma. Swadharma anushthana eva. What is your swadharma? What is your temperament? Do your work according to that. So it is said popularly in management, if you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go for picnic. If you want happiness for a month, get married. If you want happiness for a year, inherit wealth. But if you want happiness forever, do what you love and love what you do. So that do what you love is called swadharma. That I find out what is my temperament, find out the profession which I love the most, or the work which I love the most, and then engage in that. Where there is love, there is automatically withdrawal from everything else and focus in that object of love. Hence here swadharma is given as a definition of Uparama, but literally Uparama means withdrawal. So swadharma is a means for that withdrawal. So one is to identify. It is very alarming actually that many of us, we don't know only what we really love or what we are made for. That's why one of the very common questions we are asked whenever we go for any college talk or a school talk, many of them they ask, how do I find what I really love? Some of them have already chosen engineering or science or commerce or something they have chosen, and then they ask, now I find I am not made for this. So next week I will share with you one sheet of how, just few questions, objective questions which one can ask, and those questions may help us to think deeper and identify, okay, this is what I love. So first is this point about do what you love, where I can learn to withdraw. Second is do one thing at a time. Withdrawal is not possible if I am doing too many things at the same time. And multitasking really is a myth. There is no way we can do multitasking actually. Enough data and research is being done to prove that multitasking is a big myth.
The exercise you did in Kolon was fantastic.
Yeah. So do that exercise. Okay? What is that exercise? You have to write. The exercise has two steps. In the first step, you write there is no greater lie than multitasking. Sentence. And then you write 1 to 27. And you have to time this exercise. So take your watch or your phone and you set the time. And then you write, there is no greater lie than multitasking, and then write 1 to 27. Do it, first step.
Means 1, 2, 3, 4 till 27.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 27.
So first the sentence and
First the sentence, then the numbers. There is no greater lie than multitasking. And then write 1 to 27. And time it. Done? How many seconds? 32,
40.
40, 25. Okay. Now the second step of the exercise. Same thing you have to do, but one alphabet, one number. One alphabet, one number. So T1, H2, E3. Do it. One alphabet, one number. Not ABCD. The same sentence, no, there is no greater lie than multitasking. That sentence ka alphabet, one alphabet and then next one number. You have to time this also. हाँ? हो गया?
no.
How much time will you take? 70 seconds.
53 already.
60. First one? 40. See that? Done? Same time.
You write alphabet and you write numbers in between.
No!
That's wrong.
You're supposed to write one alphabet, one number. One alphabet, one number.
Very funny. 1 minute 16.
1 minute 12 seconds. 1 minute. Just see, in multitasking, this is what happens. They tell us very clearly that the brain cannot do two things at the same time, even if you are doing multitasking. It will keep shifting between the tasks. And when we keep shifting between the tasks, it is much more, see, forget the timing. Was it not more mentally draining? Irritating,
Because every time you are focusing on this, then again you are bringing the focus to the next one, again you are bringing the focus to the first
And
one.
then you have to remember what you did last time.
In psychology, this is called the capacity of filtering mechanism. In decision making, when I want to decide something, I have to filter out many factors and consider a few to decide. 1, 2, 3, 4 factors. So this is my decision. This capacity of filtering is actually called Uparama, where I filter out and just focus. Now when I don't do single work and I do multitasking, the brain is confused what to filter and what not to filter. So it includes everything. Now the decision goes wrong many times. So multitasking saves time is a myth. Multitasking will help me to conserve my energy, second myth. And multitasking gets more things done, third myth. It does not work. There are only 6% of the people who are called supertaskers, whose brain is being wired to do two things simultaneously.
It's such a small thing, like if you have the radio on and you are reading, you can't do.
No, that is what. You try reading without the radio and you see your attention and your absorption will definitely be more than with the radio. Try it.
But these
But if
days,
somebody says I'm
teaching
hearing
work
music
better
and
with
I'm
the
reading
music
this.
on.
See, the point here is simple. Point here is very simple. When the activity is not a very result-oriented activity, then there is, I am saying that there is no problem. I can listen also and I can read also. But when it is a result-oriented activity, then the performance gets reduced, affected. 1. 2, for a spiritual seeker, we have to know clearly that it is the same mind which we are carrying. So when I am going to sit in meditation also, the mind which is trained to do multitasking is going to do multitasking. By force, I cannot tell the mind, now focus here. So if multitasking has become my lifestyle, there is a big problem. That then to control that mind, and that mind you see will not be able to even be with people. The quality time that people talk about will not happen. Because the mind while talking is somewhere else. That's the place where you should not do multitasking because you are handling fire. But you are not doing that. No, the toast is doing the toast. You have put it in the toaster and you are cutting something else after that.
I think in the kitchen it's required.
But if you are toasting with one hand and cutting by, that is called multitasking.
Swamiji, then what is the difference between this multitasking and what Hyder Ali or Tipu Sultan used to do? We have learned in history that they used to listen to 20 different reporters and then they used to give instructions to them one after the other.
One after the other, no?
No, initially they will listen to everyone. 20.
They will listen to everyone not talking together. One by one they will listen. But instead of giving one person listening and solution, they are listening to 20 people and then giving them their solution. That is single tasking only. But that's just the capacity to retain that information very clearly, one after the other, and also process the solution one after the other and tell.
That is also possible because of focus.
Yeah.
you also just in between spoke about some people who can do
Super taskers. You can find out biologically are you a super tasker or not. I don't know what test is available for it, but that Google you do research. And am I a simple tasker or am I a super tasker?
So those super taskers can meditate when they want. I mean, easily.
Meditation का मुझे पता नहीं है. The research has been done that super taskers are able to do two things at a time without this shifting happening. In all our cases, the mind keeps shifting between the two or more things. In the super tasker, the shifting doesn't happen. It happens simultaneously.
It's like you're using both the sides of the brain at the same time.
I don't know about sides of the brain because sides of the brain are also different.
Yeah.
Handling different aspects. One is logical, one is creative, all that. So, anyway, see this two video now. Multitasking. And when you see the video, only see the video.
Now think about it.
Hey.
Name your company. Oh, hello, where's the cat? Your invoice number. Hello? Oh, hey, Don, what's up? Yeah, I'm just going online. Did you hold on there? Gator Company.
Whitehead, I need that report.
Yes, sir, I'm just finishing it now. Yeah, what's up?
Whitehead, I need that report.
Dog, gotta go. Dog, gotta go. Dog, gotta go. Mrs. Cat. Mrs. Cat? Mrs. Cat.
Whitehead?
The fact is, multitasking is a myth. Our brains can't do it. You simply become less efficient and more distracted, your error rate goes up 50%, and it takes you twice as long to do the same task. Listen to what Tim Jenkins has to say. He's the co-founder of Point B, a leading business consulting firm.
Well, I think there's a fallacy out there that the folks that can multitask are more effective. There are times when it's just important to focus on one thing. I think we also need to give people permission to check out of the communications network temporarily to get things done. Because when you're always on, when you're always online, you're always distracted. Right? And the brain rule is telling us that that is a very unproductive mode to be in. And so the always online organization is actually the always unproductive organization.
If you see the research which is done, one of the qualities of great achievers is that they spend the first few hours of their day in complete isolation. They are doing what they have to do. They are not in communication with anybody, and they are doing what they are supposed to do. Whether
The customer says, I want that, and say, okay, here you are. The person ready much better. If the salesperson said, wait a second, let me ask you a few questions to see if this is a good choice, then you sell it up more. So this has applications in all walks of life. I am with the Koreans, did this, you know what is so good? We want a marshmallow book for children. And we did one for children, and now it's all over Korea. They're teaching this.
it is for their personal life or it is their work. But they spend that undivided time, because the moment we start going out, there are too many things to handle. So they spend special time specifically cutting off. That's why he said, always online organizations are not always very productive. Because constantly if I am hooked on, where do I get my time? So it is very necessary that we have that special time for ourselves, and also while we are doing work through the day, try to do one thing at a time. Our Gurudev used to say, bring your mind where your hands are.
Naturally, the work becomes excellent. Excellent work shall produce excellent results. We cheat ourselves from our successes by our unintelligent dissipation of the mind in our over-anxiety for the fruits thereof. Krishna is giving a tip to Arjuna. Here is a wonderful field for you to achieve. And in achieving, do your journey. Fight out the battle. Let every arrow go and hit the point that you want to hit. Don't worry about the people. Don't evaluate that their army is larger than our army. Believe it. Don't dissipate and distract your mind. Keep your mind calm and serene. Your anxiety must be excellent. Is a goal. Learn to work thus with your mind where your hands are working. We don't do it. We work with our hand, our mind is wandering all over. So the hand that is working is a mindless hand. Mindless hand cannot afford to expect any great results. Hey, keep your mind where your hands are conquering. Be here now and act. We are never here, we are everywhere but not here. Either we are wandering in the past, I should not have done it, I don't know why I did it. Or you are in the future, will I get the result, etc. You are never here and now. Learn to be here and now. Bring all your mind and your attention and awareness there where the hand is doing a job. The performance will become excellent. Excellent performance will always give you excellent results. Here is a tip for how to achieve excellent results with your work. Continue.
So bring the mind where the hands are. You want to do one more exercise of multitasking? Try. So you have to put your legs down. If anybody of you are folded, put the legs down. So put one leg above the other. Yeah. Cross one leg above the other. Now the leg which is on top, you have to move that leg clockwise. Move it clockwise. Are you able to move it clockwise? Yes. Now lift your right hand. Move that also clockwise. Move both clockwise. Now watch your mind. Is your mind shifting between the two? Or it is just mechanically doing both? Watch. Sometimes it will be on feet, sometimes it will be on the hand. You are watching both.
You're right.
The movement is very fast.
It looks like mechanical, but it is not. It is switching one after the other, but it is very fast. Now next exercise. Wait. Continue. Keep moving your leg clockwise. Now move this finger anti-clockwise. This is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. Not possible. It's possible. I am doing this. It's possible. तकलीफ होता है लेकिन करो. Not happening. Idea is just to make you aware how this shifting happens. There is nothing called mechanical, by the way, except the autonomous functions of the body like breathing, etc., which are controlled by the centers of the brain, which we consciously don't need to control.
Involuntary muscles.
Whatever, involuntary muscles, involuntary movement of breathing and so many other things that happen in the body. But apart from that, whatever we do, the brain has to pay attention to it, otherwise it will not happen. So how is it that I can do multitasking and not be inefficient? It will be that it will reduce my efficiency.
So the first activity is also multitasking.
Both are multitasking.
But the first one was
but first one was easy, and the reason why we did it was just to notice the shifting that happens. And when we are doing simultaneously, because see, in that number activity and alphabet activity, you are still at that time doing only one. Either you are writing an alphabet or you are writing a number. Right? That was to understand the shifting more clearly. Here, while doing two things simultaneously, you can see that the shifting happens of the attention. Sometimes it is here, sometimes because the rhythm has to be maintained for both.
Sometimes the mind goes out here.
That's all.
Just to check.
The mind checks, right? Even in driving, etc., which we say by practice has become a subconscious driving, even there the attention, some part is still there. So today when we say that while driving don't talk on the phone, etc., is because of that the attention of the mind gets diverted, and what is required, those few seconds of delay can cause a lot of trouble. So now identify which are the areas where you do multitasking, and then learn to do that consciously, one thing at a time. Can you give me some examples where we do multitasking?
Even in the kitchen, when we are cooking, we listen to music, and sometimes the salt is less on
They're on the phone.
eating and talking. Exercise.
Eating and talking, while exercising, you put on the iPod. Jogging and music.
Driving music.
Driving and listening to something or talking.
Phone and TV.
Phone and TV.
Phone and giving instructions to somebody. Talking on the phone at the same time giving instruction to some people.
Breakfast and
The video that
Breakfast and newspaper.
The video that you showed.
But is it bad to listen to music while exercising?
See, the thing here is that the rhythm, if it is being used for exercise, etc., there is no issue, but because the focus is on the getting into the rhythm. But the better aspect will be once you get into the rhythm, the focus should come back to the body, the movement of the muscles, the breathing, the rhythm, the pattern, everything. Because if the focus is on that, the exercise also happens better, the chances of muscle pull, etc., are lesser, and if anybody is doing it for weight loss, etc., research says that also happens properly. Because the more the attention we pay to the body, the more better is the result of it. So if we can focus as much as we focus on one thing, that much will be the efficiency which will be better. So many of these examples where I am doing multitasking, I should identify those examples in my life and consciously work on doing them one thing at a time. Then you sit for puja or meditation or whatever, you will see the result. Mind will go deep into it. And it is also that single work helps me to discover the depth of my own personality and my own mind. More I do things together, more the mind has escaped out. I'll give you a simple example of food. When I am eating food, if I am only eating food, I will figure out what are the things which are good, what are the things which are harmful to me, what is less, what is more, what is the impact that the food is having, everything. The digestion will also be better, absorption will be better, so many things. And at that point in time I also have time with myself. But while eating food, I am talking to people or I am watching the television, I am not even aware of the food. And today so much of research done and people know that when I am eating food consciously, the saliva secretion also is better, digestion also is better, the quantity of food, that portion control that we talk about, that also becomes lesser automatically because the satiety point one comes to faster. So those are lots of these. If you read today enough research on this mindful eating, mindful life, all that is there.
I'm going to ask you, like I exercise 1 hour every morning and I need the music. I tried without the music, but then the mind is flying everywhere.
That's the reason why I need to understand that, no?
Yeah, but
because the mind is flying everywhere, listening to music is only an escape route, no? Think about it. Today it is flying because it has been trained. If I start focusing that mind on the body, on the breath, on the movement of the muscles, on the very fact, even I can tell myself, you know, this, the auto suggestions that I can give to myself. That like when I am doing my exercise, I spend a few moments in just watching and being aware of every aspect of the body. And then a few seconds I spend, if I find mind is wandering and not able to focus, then I tell myself that I am not the body. I am not the body. Like that you can give any auto suggestion you like, that my life is healthy, my life is fine. You can focus on all those which are related to the body, which are related to the health aspect. And I also found that when we were not paying attention to the body, we were not even aware that what difficulty the body is going through. You know, like I started getting some knee pain when I was walking on the treadmill. And in the gym that music is on. I realized, you know, that attention is going there into the music. So then consciously bring it back to the body and keep focusing on it. So I realized that when I started paying more attention to the body, I realized that the speed at which I was walking is what was creating the problem. That I should have gradually moved in the speed, but I moved a little faster. You know. So then we understand those aspects, like certain weights when we lift. At that point we are able to push the body to lift it, but body is not yet ready for it. So then the muscle pains after that. So one becomes more aware of one's own body. What they call, you know, the body talk happens. Body is talking to me and I am not available to listen. Body tells me, even during the day, if I am in touch with my body, the body will tell me, right now you have a craving for sugar. Right now you have a hunger pang. Right now you are not drunk enough water. Thirst, hunger, etc. are the crisis situations of the body because we are not in touch with the body. Then suddenly the crisis call comes, okay, now I am thirsty, so I have to drink. But if I am in touch with my body, how will that happen? When I learn to focus. So I have to bring the mind back. Everybody who does multitasking will face this problem.
actually now you're getting an app where it tells you, okay, now drink water.
That I agree, those are external laws which are good, necessary, but why do I need something else to tell me? That's a programmed response.
It was a friend of mine had it, even I was shocked. It makes a water, like a waterfall sound, and it means it's time for water.
Sorry, so does it mean that first you have to have Sama and Dama and then you get to Uparama?
Shama and Dama will help in Uparati. It can be done simultaneously also, no? Like when I am withdrawing and focusing on one job at a hand, already Shama and Dama is happening. And if I have the capacity of Shama and Dama, my absorption will be deeper. My withdrawal will be much more effective.
So it's not that you learn to control your senses and then move on to...
No. You can do it simultaneously also. That is possible.
But Guruji, sometimes the body, your mind stops your body. In exercising, you say enough. But when music is there, you push yourself slightly more. It works a little in the reverse way also.
See, that's why I am saying when we stop, we don't have to stop immediately. So if I am focusing for 40 minutes on the music and not aware of my body and just mechanically doing something, so-called mechanically doing something, maybe I reduce it to 20 minutes and then focus 20 minutes. So do the balance and then slowly come to one thing. Like eating food, in the beginning when we are so used to seeing something and eating, it is just impossible then to eat food without doing something. One feels...
Mind is used to it.
Yeah, it feels very uncomfortable. So I need somebody to talk, but if nothing, I am doing something on the phone and eating. That's all compulsive, which is what we don't want. In spirituality we say that come away from compulsiveness to consciousness. Do everything consciously, not compulsively, not by force. It should be done very consciously. So last point about withdrawal is conscious withdrawal has to be practiced of the senses. These earlier 2 points are external, that I am engaging in work and then I am able to withdraw from all else which is unproductive or not necessary. So focus only on the work at hand and do what you love and do it one thing at a time. This conscious withdrawal is second aspect, where I have to sit down quietly every day for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and whether it is practiced through japa or through breath control or through visualization, I consciously practice the senses being withdrawn. Meaning I close my eyes, withdraw the ears, keep quiet, sit still. So all the senses are controlled. And I don't allow the mind to wander, and I focus on one thing. So it can be the japa of a mantra, or it can be the breath, or it can be a visualization. Different things, chakra and all that.
But this is only temporary.
Temporary? Yeah, but that's the capacity that I am gaining, and I am training my senses and the mind to withdraw fully and be with myself. That slowly I am training myself for that, because all the time senses are outside. This capacity of withdrawal, consciously when I start practicing, I will experience that the happiness of being with myself is so great that I don't need to wander outside. That joy of within, which we say, no, happiness is within me, or happiness is a state of quiet mind, we experience when we actually withdraw from the senses and just be. And to withdraw completely right now not possible, so hold on to one support. And withdraw the 10 senses and withdraw all the wandering thoughts, focus on one. This conscious withdrawal has to be practiced every day. So in Gita we call that as Abhyasa Yoga. Practice. You start with one thing and practice. Name any one support you can use, whatever you like. Tip of a candle. We have to visualize, not open the eyes and see. Visualize the flame of a candle in the mind. Anything you like. Form of the Lord, mantra. Close the eyes and focus on the breathing. So for fixed time and fixed quantity, if I do that, then the fickleness of the mind also gets controlled. So these are few aspects where I learn to withdraw the senses and the mind. Rest of it we will continue in our next session.
So Sama is only the thoughts, you are controlling only the thoughts. And here you are
practicing both. Shama is control of thoughts, so thinking I don't distract myself. Dhamma is withdrawing the senses, so at sensory level I don't distract myself. And Uparama is practice of both Shama and Dhamma. So I have withdrawn and then I am focusing on mantra or breath or anything. So one is withdrawal, other is focus.
Hour of Now is a very good book.
Yeah, nice.
Why do you say fixed time and fixed quantity?
So fixed time and fixed quantity is because when I have a fixed time, the mind gets prepared, like food, etc. You know, but biologically also when we eat at the fixed times, the digestion is better, the whole system comes into a rhythm. So fixed time, also fixed quantity, so that the mind does not act impulsively. Sometimes it says, today, just 10 minutes is okay. Sometimes it says, today I should do 20 minutes. That is what we are trying to control. So keep a fixed quantity. If you exceed that, well and good. But one should never reduce it. So if it is japa, then we fix one mala, 27 beats, 54 beats, 108 beats, whatever. And don't reduce it. Whether the mood is there or not, I have to sit down and train myself. And you will see that that training helps so much, especially when I get angry and all that. Ability to withdraw the mind becomes very easy because I have practiced it consciously. So for today I will have to stop here. Maybe the question in the next class, because I have to reach some other place by before 11:30. That's why I'm ending early today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.